Throughout this training title, you are going to pick up a number of really valuable shortcuts, which will help you speed up your overall workflow. Here, what I want to do is begin to introduce you to a few of the essential shortcuts. Now, we're going to cover more than this later, yet here are a few to get you started. All right, well, one of the things that I want to do first is just define a few areas of our interface. If we look up top, you'll notice that we have the menu bar, and that's at the very tippy top of the application. Underneath that is the area where we have the identity plate on the left and the module picker or the modules over there on the right. Next thing that I want to highlight is the middle area is called the work area. And the work area will change depending upon the module that we're in. On the right and left hand side we have our panels, and these panels are different based on the different modules. Down below we have what's called the toolbar. And if the toolbar isn't visible, simply press the T key. That allows you to toggle the visibility of the toolbar on and off, whether you're in the library module or in the develop module. The toolbar contains some really helpful information, although sometimes that gets in the way, and we'll talk about that in a second. Down below we have what's called the film strip. All right, well, now that we've defined these areas, let's get to a few shortcuts. Currently, I'm in the Develop module. You can see that here, although it's a little grayed out. And in the Develop module, we have shortcuts for some of the things that we'll be doing quite often, like adding flags or stars or labels. And in order to add flags, we can use P, U, or X. P stands for pick, U stands for unpick, and then X stands for reject. Now, of course, we'll talk about how to actually use these later, although here I think it would be helpful to jot these shortcuts down. For adding a star rating to your photograph, you press the number key between 1 and 5. To add a label, you press the number key between 6 and 9. Now, you can, of course, also hide the entire toolbar. If you press the T key, that will toggle between hiding and showing the toolbar. All right, well, let's move on. How about our panels? One of the things that you notice is the panels take up a lot of screen real estate. So there will definitely be times where we're going to need to minimize or hide those panels. There are a couple of different ways to do this, but one technique that we can use is the shortcut. If you press the Tab key, that will then show or hide your side panels. So if they're open and you hit Tab, it will then close them, hit it again, and it will bring them out. You can also use this shortcut here, which is Shift plus Tab, in order to hide or show all the panels. In other words, it will hide everything up top, it will hide the film strip, it will hide the panels on the left and right hand side. All right, well, let's keep moving. What about getting to more specific areas of the interface? We can use our F keys, in particular F5, F6, F7, and F8, in order to hide specific areas of the interface. If you press F5, it will toggle between hiding and showing the area up top. F6, that will hide or show the film strip. F7, that will hide or show the panel on the left. And then F8, the panel on the right. And the reason that this is helpful is you'll find in your own workflow there will be times, let's say when you're in the Develop module, and you'll want a larger area in order to work on your photograph. So in those particular situations, you can press F7. That will then open up more space for the image, giving you a larger view of the file so that you can dial in your settings a little bit more appropriately. All right, well, the last thing that I want to highlight here is that there are two global shortcuts that are really important. One is the F key, and what the F key does is it toggles through the different full screen views. And then the L key. What the L key does is if you press it multiple times, it will dim or darken, or if you set it up in your preferences, it can also brighten the interface. And the whole point of the L key is that you can minimize or hide the interface so you can focus in on the image. All right, well, that wraps up our first look at a few shortcuts that we'll be using. Now, understand that those shortcuts may seem a little bit abstract right now. Yet I wanted to introduce them here so that you can begin to take some notes and jot down those shortcuts and then add to that list as you learn more shortcuts throughout the rest of this training title.